Ah, there you are. Between contending with bloodthirsty beasts and sand in my every conceivable place, I had begun to despair of finding you again.
Do you recognize the crashed ship over yonder? Mistress Alizé and I briefly inspected it. It is the vessel that bore Master Alphinaud away.
But there was no sign of him, nor of Maxima and his people.
War Machina. It would seem they were involved in a struggle. There may be clues. We should split up and search the area.
These were no ordinary soldiers. Over here! It's one of the Emperor's personal guard.
Hand-picked soldiers, answering only to the royal family.
That would explain why all the casualties are Garlean. They were fighting their own.
You're saying the Emperor was behind all this? That Alphinaud is his prisoner?
Aye, we must not jump to conclusions. Besides,
I suggest we return to Doma to consider our options. Whatever happened here, Master Alphinaud is long gone, and any subsequent search may safely be left in the hands of the shinobi.
Where in the world are you, brother? If you die on me, I will never let you hear the end of it.
Lise! What brings you here?
Oh, Alliance business. We have a request for Doma. Well, Hien. But that can wait. They told me you were out searching for Alphino. Did you manage to pick up his trail? Well, if he wasn't at the crash site, he might still have escaped. We have to keep searching.
And we will. Alphino embarked on this journey as an emissary of Doma, and I hold myself responsible for his safe return. I will have our shinobi in the provinces search for him as a matter of urgency. Chin up, Alize. You'll get to admonish your brother for his recklessness yet.
Well, someone has to do it.
I'm sure he's going to be fine. There is one thing I'm not sure about, though. You said it was the Emperor's personal guard that attacked Alphino's airship. But the Popularis would never have been able to arrange the prisoner exchange without Varys' blessing. So why would he sabotage his own mission?
They may not have been acting on Varys' orders. The guard answer not only to him, but to his family, the Crown Prince included.
When Yotsuyu summoned Tsukuyomi, Asahi was quick to proclaim that a Dorman citizen had violated the terms of our agreement, that the negotiations had failed. And it is this version of events that is now being repeated across Garlemald. To hear the tale, one would think the prisoner exchange never took place. Plainly, someone is manipulating matters from the shadows. Most likely Xenos, or whoever it is that wears his face.
Whichever Ascian you mean. We all know the nature of our adversary.
The servants of Chaos are true to their name. Their meddling has cost Doma a chance at peace. Whoever it was that loosed his personal guard, the Emperor cannot be ignorant of these developments. We must proceed on the assumption that our treaty is indeed in tatters. But come, Lise. You have journeyed far. Let me hear your petition.
Right. So the big news is that Ala Mhigo has agreed to join the Eorzean Alliance. To make it official and discuss where we all go from here, the leaders of the 5 nations are planning to hold a meeting, and we were hoping you might come too. We've already seen what we can achieve when we work together, and the Alliance hopes to work even more closely in future. They think it's our best hope of keeping the Garleans in check, and I agree.
As do I. By coordinating our efforts in the east and west, we may be able to discourage them from committing their forces to a single front. I accept your invitation. I must, however, ask for time to attend to some pressing matters here. In light of recent events, the risk of Imperial reprisals is greater than ever, and I would not leave Doma unguarded. Ere I depart, I must shore up her defenses.
Understood. I'll let the Alliance know. We'll wait to hear from you before setting a date. The meeting's to be held at the Royal Palace in Ala Mhigo, incidentally. Do you remember the way?
Well enough. Please assure my hosts that I will not keep them waiting any longer than I have to.
Consider it done. And thank you for agreeing to come. If we all put our heads together, we're sure to find the best way forward. For everyone.
If we are to ready ourselves for invasion, we shall need manpower, provisions, and time, all of which are in notably short supply.
Candid as ever, Yugiri, and correct, I concede. Fortunately, I have an idea. 'Tis plain no single nation can stand against the might of the Empire. And it was only with the aid of others that Dorma succeeded in winning her freedom. So, I mean to take a leaf out of our Eorzean friends' book and form an alliance of our own. In addition to those with whom we already share an understanding, I would reach out to Hingashi and Suinosato, and further afield to the myriad peoples of Nangsha and Dalmasca. I am under no illusion. Not all will answer the call. Yet disparate though we may be, we are united in our desire for freedom. If our neighbors could be made to see what is at stake, Ascian machinations and all, cooperation need not be so far-fetched a notion.
It may even seem practical. Under the guidance of our former leader, Master Louis Soir, we once strove to unite the fractious city-states of Eorzea. I dare say that experience shall be of use in your endeavor.
We should be glad of your wisdom.
For the record, I would have been in favor of this plan even if it hadn't been my grandfather's, but I have to ask, how will we secure the time to carry it out? Not that anyone has forgotten, but the Garleans have airships, lots and lots of airships. Should they catch wind of our plan, they could send an armada to overwhelm us before our alliance had
Not if we deny them access to the skies. During our time in the Burn, the Warrior of Light and I chanced upon some Allagan ruins.
Oh?
As such ruins go, they were not particularly unusual. But something about the surrounding land struck me as odd. Faint though it was, its ethereal residue was uncannily similar to that of Aziz La. Identical, in fact, for locations so far removed to share a single etheric signature is all but impossible. I conclude, therefore, that the Allagans created the floating continent with land taken from the Burn.
While that is a most intriguing theory, I fail to see what relevance it has to Dorma's defense.
Aziz La was enclosed in a powerful energy barrier, impenetrable even to an Agrias-class battleship. It occurred to me that those ruins may have enjoyed similar protection. I have no proof, but the Warrior of Light did report seeing a structure resembling other known Allagan field generators.
All right. But even if we could put up such an energy barrier, it surely wouldn't extend beyond the limits of the Burn. So...
Fuel. The Dalmascan capital, Rabanasta, was a key Imperial refueling point in the east. By laying waste to it as a lesson to the rest, the Empire greatly hindered its own operations in the region. If an Imperial fleet were to advance upon Dorma, it would now have little choice but to travel, as the crow flies, over the Burn.
I see.
A word of caution. Even assuming the generator still functions, raising a barrier of such a scale will require a prodigious amount of energy. And few places are so bereft of suitable crystals as the Burn.
A source of energy. Tell me, did the Allagans make a habit of launching things into the sky?
Curious question. Besides Aziz La, I know of only one other notable instance. The Red Moon Dalamud, whose fall triggered the calamity.
Just the two occasions, you say? Then I believe I may have a solution to our energy problem.
You do?
I may. To find out for sure, we would need to visit the Azim Steppe. Which would, I now see, present the perfect opportunity to discuss an alliance with the Zayla tribes. How very neat. What say you then? Shall we see whither this road leads? I will never tire of this vista. The endless fields, the boundless skies. 'Tis a sight to make a man forget his cares.
But not his purpose, I trust. Might this be a fitting moment to tell us what we are doing here?
Of course. During my time with the Mole, I learned some few myths of this land. One goes thus. In the distant past, when all seemed doomed, a wayfaring soul came unto the steppe. Venturing into the northern crag, he received of Nama a sliver of her essence, a shard of the shining moon, and with it clove the tainted land from the earth. The end thus averted, to these fields did the wayfaring soul return, and venturing once more into the northern crag, he buried the shard, and made unto the heavens an offering of blood.
A tainted land cloven from the earth and an offering of blood to the heavens. Azizla and Dalamud.
That was my thinking, yes.
And you believe that yonder mountains hide an artifact possessed of sufficient power to raise Azizla up to the heavens? I suppose that might suffice.
Worth a closer look, would you say?
I would. Such an abundance of ether.
Are we in luck?
We are. This is an Allagan artifact, most likely built to regulate the flow of ether. I strongly suspect the ancients used it to stem the flow from here to the burn. That would explain how they were able to untether what became Azys La from its surroundings. But were we to throw open the floodgates, the resultant deluge would surely be sufficient to raise our wall. And in restoring the flow, we may also restore life to the wasteland.
What is it?
While the device itself harbors a surfeit of ether, the opposite is true of the surrounding area. An effect of regulation, perhaps. A similar phenomenon seemed to be occurring in Doma. Whatever the explanation, the answer will not reveal itself here. We have seen what we needed to see. Let us return to Mol Ilo.